The Lord said to Cain, "Why are you angry, and why has your face fallen? If you do well, will you not be accepted? And if you do not do well, sin is crouching at the door. Its desire is contrary to you, but you must rule over it." Cain spoke to Abel his brother, and when they were in the field, Cain rose up against his brother Abel and killed him. Then the Lord said to Cain, "Where is Abel your brother?" He said, "I do not know. Am I my brother's keeper?" And the Lord said, "What have you done? The voice of your brother's blood is crying to me from the ground." Genesis 4:6-10. This is the set of lines in the Old Testament in which Cain kills his younger brother Abel and becomes the first murderer in a world that hasn't seen death, let alone murder, before. But what does this have to do with the amazing digital circus? Well, TADC, which we'll be referring to as such from this point on because that's a mouthful, takes elements from Christianity, Gnosticism, and I have no mouth and I must scream. While those latter two aren't important for this video, they still play a part in the series. All of these components come together to help us as the audience to understand a few things, such as Cain being a god to the other NPCs in episode 2, or the Last Supper style shot at the end of the pilot. It's important as there is so much use of religion in both the show itself and the theories that it makes me wonder, are we stopping at using elements, or could there be more to this inspiration? I'm saying all of this because I have a theory that the story of Cain and Abel will play out in the show, with Jax becoming the first murderer in the world that hasn't seen murder before, and I think the role of Abel will be played by Gangle. See what I did there? So why do I think this, and why Jax and Gangle? Oh, and also, how does this work? I mean, there's no death in this world. Gooseworks, the creator, said so. But what about murder? Gooseworks was asked, will anyone in the series be killed? And she responded, it depends on your definition of a kill. It seems that while there is no death, characters can be killed through abstraction. In the pilot, we see the character Kaufmo has abstracted, becoming this monster made up of a glitchy black mass and eyes. A unique design that kinda resembles a biblically accurate angel. I think this is what she meant by definition of kill. There is no death, but abstraction is the closest thing we can get to it. Gooseworks described abstraction as, the idea is that you get completely stripped of every bit of individuality you have, and become something completely unrecognizable. They may not actually die, but the concept of their person is no longer there, gone to abstraction. This is backed up by the funeral they have for Kaufmo at the end of episode 2. As far as the humans trapped in the circus are aware of, abstraction is death, and there is no coming back from it. There's nothing left of the person, completely stripped of what makes them, them. So that statement about your definition of kill highlights that someone may abstract, and it may be someone else's fault. So now it comes down to who, and I think if you've seen just one of the episodes of TADC, the one of two that there is out now, it's clear that Jax would be playing the role of Cain. Who else could it be? Ragatha is playing the mother of the group. She's more sympathetic to all the characters and is acting as somewhat of a mentor role to Pomni. Now before I get a comment about it, this evil Ragatha at the beginning of episode 2 is just a dream. We see Pomni wake up from the nightmare, and I had a dream where I was fighting a female Mr. Beast, then a nuke went off while I was in a van, so dreams are fake as shit. Zubo could be an option as they're antagonistic against Jax, but really only Jax, and every time, Jax aggravates them first. Kinger's out because he's too crazy to influence someone like that. He seems to be kinder to his fellow trapped humans, like when he reminds Ragatha about her entering the circus.
I remember how long it took for you to adjust.
Pomni won't work because she seems to gain happiness and collectivism from helping others with the pain she's been through. She helps Gummy Goo with the pain of realizing his existence like she had to with her existence, and I have a feeling as the series goes on, she's actually going to be a foil to Jax, helping those he harms. Finally, there's Gangle, and there's just no way. What we've seen of Gangle in the show so far has been them being bullied by Jax, and at Kaufmo's funeral, in which they look happy. Gangle just doesn't seem to want to hate someone, let alone kill them. But Jax is seemingly evil incarnate. taking pieces off Zubul whenever he feels, putting bugs in Ragatha's room, constantly physically bullying Gangle, and both physically and verbally bullying Pomni. He even bullies Kinger in the pilot episode. Even Gooseworks backs up the idea of Jax being the worst. When asked, is Jax an anti-hero or just a jerk, she responds, there's absolutely nothing heroic about him. And again, when asked, of all the performers in TADC, who deserves to be there the most, she says Jax. If this story really takes inspiration from I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream, and the circus is supposed to be torture, then saying a character belongs there is something that needs to be paid attention to. So with our murderer set in place, we can move on to the victim. And of the characters in Circus, I think 3 characters are more likely than the others. Pomni, Ragatha, and Gangle. Zubul is too combative towards Jax to allow him to break down their sanity. Kinger is the opposite issue. He really has no sanity to break in the first place. There is no sense of self to lose. Pomni, Ragatha, and Gangle are the main victims of Jax's bullying anyway. We can cut out Pomni first due to the fact that she seems like she will also be combative towards Jax, calling him out after Jax threw her out of the truck. Pomni may just be the one to confront Jax enough to cause Jax to kill another. Pomni may just be his foil. Cain killed Abel after God favored Abel's offerings over Cain's. Maybe Pomni plays the role of God, upsetting Jax enough to harm someone else. Then there were 2. Ragatha and Gangle, and I think Gangle because of the bullying done by Jax. Sure, Jax has bullied Ragatha, putting a centipede in her room and trying to convince the fudge monster that her hair is candy.
Before I start thinking your hair looks like licorice.
Jax!
But this is a drop in the bucket to what he does to Gangle, constantly bullying Gangle by pushing them around, breaking their mask multiple times, forcing them to do things they don't want to, and verbally abuses them when he doesn't get his way. We get a mere snippet of this in the pilot compared to episode 2. Jax's main victim is Gangle, and it's not even close. Compared to all other characters, Jax bullies Gangle the most, and that could indicate what's to come. I think Pomni will confront Jax, then out of anger and wanting revenge, he will force Gangle to abstract, and while Cain could just trap the abstracted Gangle, the ripples of the first murder could be massive. Throughout the understanding of Catholicism, the Old Testament, and any other interpretations of Christianity, Cain is left without a brother to face the wrath of God. In Dante's Inferno, Cain is found in the 9th and lowest circle of hell. He's closer to Satan than anyone other than the 3 souls in Satan's vows. Other depictions of his punishment have had God banish him to immortality, forced to walk the earth forever. In another, he is not even welcomed in hell. While I can't theorize on what will happen to Jax after it's found out what caused Gangle to extract, I can say that it will be much worse than abstraction, maybe even 10-fold as bad. But this theory does bank on one idea, that there will be more than one season of Amazing Digital Circus. It's clear that TADC will most likely have 1 season and only 1 season, so my theory kinda gets thrown out of the window when you truly think about it, but maybe it's a mid-season twist, you never know. Well, that's it for this episode. I do have one more theory on TADC. When I watched episode 2, I had both the theory we're looking at now and another theory just sprout in my head almost immediately, so that's coming soon, but I'm gonna keep it a secret for what it is, because I don't want to tell nobody. To any of the channels that may see this and may want to cover this, go right ahead, you can change it, cover it, I don't care, just please, I beg of you, say, mention that I made the original, just because I kinda don't have a lot of subscribers or viewers or anything. So please, I beg of you, not that any other big channel is gonna watch this, but who knows? Maybe I'll get lucky. I don't know. I'm just spitballing here. And to my fans, goodbye, good day, and good night.